Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the EBV NATCON Business Plan Competition Office Hours Lab number 2, and that is titled Opportunity, Company, and Industry. So before we go ahead and get started, I would like to just go over a few things. I want to go over guidelines and format of the business plan that's going to be used. I'm sure most of you have nuts and bolts book. If you don't, please email me at eabdic@syr.edu so I can forward you the PDF file, nuts and bolts, because that's the format of the business plan I'm using. And for those who are looking to compete at the ABB National Business Plan Competition 2016, this is the format we would like to see. And this format should conclude. I'm just going to go over very quickly. It should have a cover page, table of content, executive summary. Then we start with the business section 1, which is company, concept, and product and services. Then we have section 2, which is the industry. Section 3, market and research and analysis. Section 4, we have the economics of the business. Section 5 is the marketing plan. Section 6 is design and development plan. Section 7 is operation plan. Section 8 is management team. Section 9, overall schedule. Section 10 is critical risk, problem, and assumptions. Section 11 is financial plan. Section 12 is proposed company offering. Then we have conclusion and appendixes. So that's the format that you would like to use if you intend to compete on a business plan competition. So if you don't have nuts and bolts book, or this format, please email me so I can provide you with one. And let's go over just very quickly before we start with the questions. Let's go over the last video you guys watched, which was on the first and second section of the business plan. So in the first section of the business plan, which is the company, concept, and product and services. So there, I'm going to go very quickly over. I want you to know, like, you should split that up in a section. So you should have a section under company and concept, and here you should include, what type of business structure is your business, legal entity, sole proprietorship, LLC, S corp, C corp. You also want to provide, where's the company based at, where's it looking to start its operation from, provide a little description about the business, how did you came up with the products or services, what problem did you solve, or what are some solutions to it. You want to have your mission statement here. You want to have a vision and main objectives. You also want to fully describe the concept behind the business. What is the unique value proposition that you're offering? Like, what are some core benefits of your products or services to the end user? So you also want to have a section about products and services, and here you want to fully describe each and every product that you're offering. In a fully description, if you have pictures, brochures, flyers, whatever you can do, it's good to put in a business plan. You also want to try to be, generate some excitement here, because you want somebody reading this, you want them to say, wow, that sounds so cool, I want to get it right away, or I want to use your service because it's amazing, right? So try to, explain how it works. What's the primary use of your product or service? What's the secondary use? You want to, if you have a variation of products, categorize it. Make it easier for reader to understand, because overall it has to be simple. Discuss unique features and benefits that your product creates to a consumer. We talked about maybe like a phone. Some features of the phone, it's flat, it has, apps and things like that. What are some benefits? Well, the internet app provides me to be online as much as possible as I want, anywhere. Like a FaceTime app, it's like conference calls on the go and things like that. So you also want to make sure you mention anything else that is out there that there'll be your competition with compared to products. So it's like, what are other things that are currently on the market that is similar to your products or service? You want to look into how you're going to penetrate the market. You want to also look into how long will your customer take to rebuy your product again? Is it one-time buy, or is it going to take him, after a certain amount of time, he's going to come back and reuse the service or rebuy the product again? You also want to list down what's so different what makes you different from your competitors? You know, like what some advantages that you have over them? Did you copyright it? Did you trademark it? And certain things like that. And discuss opportunities for expanding in the future. Are you gonna add on top of this service, or are you gonna add on top of this product? How can you make it better to last forever? Because life cycle of the product is very important. I know you guys remember Walkman players, right? CD players, iPods, and now smartphones, right? So we have a life cycle of the things. If you don't innovate on top of them, eventually your product will die. So, and we also want to still, another section we want to have under the company concept and products and services is entry and growth strategy. So you want to hear, you want to say how and where you plan to enter initially in the market. Share your vision, like in 5 years, where you think your business will be, and how quickly you're gonna get there. So provide some information on that too. So that will be section 1. I also want to cover section 2. You guys should watch in the video. It's the industry. So when you write your business plan on the industry, you want to summarize your industry in which your business will be operating. I mean, Mirza has probably mentioned about NICES codes, which stands for North American Industry Classification System, right? So that will give you a little bit more information about what industry are you in. Like the stage the industry is in. Is a emerging stage? Is a fragmental stage? Is a mature stage? Is a declining stage, right? So what type of opportunities are available in this industry as well? You want to talk about. You also want to have a section on the industry is discussing the size of the industry. How big is it in dollar amounts? Is it an $8 billion industry, or is and how fast is it growing? Annual growth rate on it. You also want to have a section on discussing the structure of the industry and presence. Like you want to know who are the biggest competition. How many are they out there? Who are your direct competition? Who are indirect competition? Like even if you can possibly narrow it down to your city or county where you base that. You also want to highlight key trends in the industry, like what are some patterns that you notice in your industry, and how is it doing? For example, let's say we have a company of flip-flops, and we know, let's say during winter time our sales decrease, and summertime they increase, because summertime, northern states they have summer, so they're probably buying flip-flops. Southern states buying flip-flops, right? But it comes winter, northern states might decrease in buying, and southern states will still buy, right? So we notice every year a little decrease in our sales during the winter season. So those type of trends you want to look into, like industry when you're talking about. You also want to discuss like a key success factors in the industry as well, and draw a conclusion from it. So that's very quickly. I just wanted to go over what you guys watched. Now I'm gonna open the floor for questions. Please feel free, don't be shy to ask me anything you guys would like to know with these 2 sections of the business plan. Okay, so we have a question from Brittany. Question: what are the key ratios? How do I find them for my industry, and how do I use them to inform the reader my competitive strategy? So regards to key ratios is it's calculation. You want to look at the advantages and disadvantages in certain against your competition in the industry. If you're how to explain this, but usually you want to look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats that are associated with other competitors, and compare to your product as well. So compare your competition to yourself, and then you want to figure out a ratio of your success. Like, what's my industry ratio? Like, how am I going to progress to the industry based on my strengths compared to my competitors? So if you want to, you can make it like a little, kind of like a X chart, and say, strengths, here's strengths of my competitors, here's weakness of my competitors, here are opportunities that are available, here, threats, like what are they afraid of, and then do it on your business as well, and then you can compare those two. And it involves a lot of calculations. If you don't know, I would not recommend spending too much time on it. Just, explain competition, pretty much. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So my industry would be hospitality industry, right? Mm-hmm. And what I'm finding is here in South Carolina, where I live, I'm targeting a niche market that hasn't been served yet. And so my competitors that I'm going against are either restaurants in general or entertainment places in general. So how do you, or do I just merge both of them onto my competitor?
Okay. So what do you want to look into it when you look to your next codes is you do want to get an overall industry, but then you want to narrow it down to specific your niche. If there's anything in your niche, if you're the first one on the market, that's great. Then do like the next thing closest to it, you know, compared to that one. So if you're looking at like entertainment and restaurants, you know, you want to pick which one is closer to you that you want to compare. Even though we have indirect competition and direct competition, so depends on whatever the service is, you can say, okay, well, I offer this, and restaurants offer exactly what I do, and that's their main topic, right? That's the main service. So that's your direct competition. Maybe I offer this, and you know, entertainment industry might come across that, right? So which means, okay, they're indirect competition. For example, if I'm let me give a good example. Let's say I'm an ice cream shop, right? So my direct competition would be other ice cream shops around me. But let's say indirect competition could be Walmart, you know, Price Chopper, anywhere else that sells ice cream, you know, gas stations. So that'll be indirect competition, which means they cross over, but not like, you know, fully direct. So looking at the niche, definitely try to find somebody who definitely has, you know, something like you do or similar, close that you can, you know, compare yourself to. Is that clarifies or?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Okay, Fritz Little has a question. What are the advantages, disadvantages, or narrowing or broadening nexus codes? I currently list 5 6-digit nexus codes, which fall within 3 different 3-digit codes. Okay, so depends on your products and services and how many like different narrowing industry does it touch upon, right? So that's why I say if you have a variation of your services or products, please categorize them. So that way you can say, okay, like this service or this product goes within this industry and that's the niche for it. So the advantage to this scenario of narrowing it down is, you know, how big the market size becomes and what's your potential of gaining and how much money can you earn within this market. For example, if it's $100,000 market in my city, which means I know who are the competitors that I can compete against. You know, I have this one, I have this one, and this guy has 30%, this guy has, you know, 20%, this guy has 5%. So where do I stand against them, and what are my advantages over them, and how I plan on, you know, stealing some market share. So that's what you wanna like. That's why it's important to narrow down your search, so you know how big is the market. Because if it's a broad industry, like you know, if you don't do any next course and just pick the first one, it's so broad. It's like $1 billion, but it's like, where's my money coming from? You know, how much of the money can I take? Does that explain a little bit, or am I going too fast? Okay, Brittany, I'm having trouble obtaining industry reports from my BIS role database. Is there any way of obtaining? Okay. What I can do, Brittany, I don't know if you're EBV or EBVF grad. If you are, you can go to our website, EBV website, and under our graduate tab, there's a link, and you just send us email to ebvtab@syr.edu, and we'll, you know, there's information how to access IBS World, you know, database. And if you have any questions, you can just email us back. Okay, we have Dwayne. He says, how do you show value proposition for your product if you made it? If you have made it yet, is it best to show what you're intending it to be? If you haven't made it yet, you gotta be sure to provide that is capable of making it, that you can make it, right? So make sure like it's doable, it's achievable, and here's the plan. How am I gonna do it? Here's if you don't have it yet and you say I'm gonna create it, make sure you like the audience, that your judges, whoever is going to be investing money into your business, they want to know like actual facts behind it, how you're going to do it, like who did you talk to, what manufacturers you went to, like have the research done and say, okay, like it's being done. Then talk about, features and benefits of it. So make sure you can create it if it's not being done. Does that help? Okay, good. Do we have any more questions, guys? Let me know if I'm talking too fast, because I intend to do that. If you want to repeat anything, please let me know. Like I say, if I don't answer your question, I will look for the answer and I will get back to you. Just email me. Okay, Lawrence, what is the format in Exedia for sending in the business plan? So we went over first session, but I'm gonna tell you again. So on our EBV website, there is under the graduate tab, there's business plan competition tab, and under there you have on the left side you're gonna have saying, let me just go to the website very quickly. So on the graduate tab, there's a business plan competition tab. On the left side, you'll have business plan competition. You click on that, it will give you all the information that you need and to submit. But what you need is intent to compete form. You have to submit that. You have to submit entrance certificate form. Make sure like all the work is yours and you didn't steal it from anybody. You gotta, follow, make sure you pass the rules and guidelines of the business plan. Make sure you're eligible to compete. And all you have to do is submit your business plan and executive summary by the December 7th, 2015, no later than 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And there is a PDF, you submit it in a PDF file, and the way you name the file is last name, first initial, executive summary. Last name, first initial, lower dash, business plan. Right? So does that clear? That's good. Okay, so we have Fritz. I mentioned last week the slides within the video are a good addition to the Nuts and Bolts book. Are the slides available? I'm gonna contact Mirza and I'm gonna ask him for slides. So I will just send me an email, so remind me, please, and I will definitely forward it to you and to everyone that is available. So just let me know. Like I say, if you don't have Nuts and Bolts, please send me an email so I can forward your PDF file.
How in detail should we go into the service part? Because like I said, it's a hospitality industry, so it's a restaurant / something else. So how detailed do you go in for the restaurant part? How detailed do you go in for the service part?
So if you wanna like how detailed it is, you have to be very specific so people understand exactly what you do, because there's a lot of services with restaurants. For example, if you say restaurant services, so categorize what type of services do you offer with your restaurant, right? Do I do waiting? Do I do cleanup? Do I do dishwashing? I don't know. What is it? And if you do dishwashing, like explain to me, what's your core value? Why should I take your service instead of doing myself, right? What's the benefit that I'm receiving from you from doing this? Like what are some features, what are some benefits? So you do have to be very specific, because you have to also generate some excitement with your services, so that when they read it, it's like, wow, this is so cool, right? Even though it's, for example, how many commercials of iPhones and smartphones you see out there, and it's like they always make something like, oh, this is so cool, nobody else has that, right? It's the same smartphone. Like camera is a camera on every phone, but like iPhone makes, oh, this one does this, slow-mo, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Right? So, like I said, under product and services, you fully describe each and every product that you offer. If you have variations of a product, categorize and then describe it. And then you have to start listening, and then being mention how is it being used, right? Like how do you apply it? in my business? How do you apply in your business? Like, how do you apply it? Like, what's a primary use for it, and what can be used for something else, right?
And then if you go that detailed into the products and services, how detailed do you go in the executive summary for that? Like, because you're already saying everything.
Okay. No. So executive summary should not exceed 2 pages. It's a just snapshot of your business plan. That's why we always say executive summary is for the last thing to do. First, you got to have the business plan to be able to summarize it. So executive summary is a snapshot. It's like you summarize each and every kind of like a little section of the business plan, like boom, 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 right? So you just give them a little bit detail because you want the reader to read more, right? They want to get them interested with an executive summary, like, oh, I gotta find out a little more about what she does, right? Okay. So you just give them a taste so they can come and read more. Because if this executive summary is not like a snapshot, if it's not interesting, they're not gonna go and read for anything else. Right. Or if you give them too much, they're gonna be like it's too much. They're not gonna even read it, right? So you want to look at the investors as well. So I would not recommend going over 2 pages. Even 1 page would be good, but 2 pages is the maximum that you should have an executive summary.
Okay.
Okay, what else do we have? Okay, Dwayne, I'm finding it hard to separate my industry for the serious health games versus video games industries to find real hard data that is specific for what I want on my business plan. Dwayne, so like I say, if you want to look to separate your industry, definitely look at Nexus codes. Once you get your Nexus codes, please insert them into IBS world, and that will give you some information on what particular your industry is. And you mentioned like, what is that? Serious health games versus video games. I don't know what's the difference about it, but like video games are video games, but then certain categories of video games like action games, adventure games, comedy games, I don't know, sports games, right? So maybe categorizing towards that type of industry might, do a little better, like how much, sports games are selling, what's the market on that one. So you can break it down a little bit. It will help you out. Does that help? Okay. I have the report for video games, but doesn't have anything about serious games market. So search different data sites. Like I say, if you're EBV or EBVF grad, please go on our website. On the graduate tab, you can go to resources, and on the resources we do have some of the databases that you can utilize to search out. But like I say, you have to specify exactly which type of category of the games are you competing. These adventures games, these action games, these sports games. Like you gotta narrow it down to that point. If not, then just use overall industry of video games. Okay. Anyone else has any questions? How far are you guys with the writing of the business plan? Did you finish it, or did it?
I have a really, really rough draft.
Yeah, like I say, I'm mentioning you section out. Each section should have at least a couple of other sections within the section, like subcategories of your business plan. Like I mentioned, like when you have product and services, provide full detail of description of the products and services. Provide images, whatever you can. Then you have even categorize your products, like make a little chart, like these are under here. Maybe with the pricing if you wanna. You also then you can discuss features and benefits of each of the product, and like go down sections. Like here you want to break it down. I always say to my clients is 14-year-old should read your business plan and be able to say like, yes, I'll be able to run this business. That's how clear and concise and a lot of information should be. So all the information should be factual, like hard data, but it should be like concise and easy to read. Okay, so we have first draft done. Needs a lot of work. Okay, about 12 pages right now. Okay, guys, and don't never count business plan as a pages. Always count as information presented That's what I would recommend. And then later on, if it needs to be cut it down. But like, make sure you explain what is asking. So look at the nuts and bolts, and make sure like you address each and every little section of the business plan. Like because you have to be clear addressing these sections, so the reader say, okay, I understand how you got this, right? I understand how this gonna work. So make sure that. So I've seen a lot of people counting pages. Please don't do that. Just go with the business plan. That if it needs cutting down, you can always come back and rewrite it.
I find myself, I have like, I know you said not to use pages, but I have like 75 pages because I got very technical, being that I'm a cybersecurity guy, and I'm like with Eva, I'm in hospitality management. I have a lifestyle management business here in the Metro DC area, and so listening to you now is going to help me to go back to narrow the pages down to figure out exactly what is my primary service that I want to talk about in a business plan.
Yeah, so if you have too many services, like I say, you can always look at the competition. So that's what I always say, like you want to know your competition ahead of time so you can go and compare yourself, like, because sometimes we can learn a lot from the competitions, because we can learn, what do they offer, how do they advertise, and things like that. So we check out their website, we see how they categorize their services, so we can get a, little outlook on how to go about doing our own. Right? So, and that's what I say, like, if you have a lot of information, which is good, keep it for your own reference. Maybe you'll write your own, training handbook, employee training handbook that you can use all the information with every detail. But you want to think across the table. If you happen to come across this, if you have somebody of your family, friends, high school kids that you have around, like, have them read a couple of sections and ask them, like, okay, what do you think? Like, do you understand it? Is it too much, too long? Like, where did I overdo it? But in certain businesses do require a lot, but like I say, short enough so it's understandable, so people get the idea what you're looking to say.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay. Anyone else? So everyone is following the nuts and bolts?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good.
And is it really going to matter if we don't have a location yet?
Not necessarily. It doesn't matter, but like you always want to estimate where you're looking to be, which city, which part of the city, like is a, because it depends on your marketing. We're gonna cover this in the marketing section probably, but like where your location is compares on like where's your target market. For example, I can have the best product ever, and if I'm a ghetto area, like, and my customers are high-end customers, like they're not gonna come to my shop in a ghetto, right? Won't be afraid to come, even though if I have the best product ever, right? And maybe the people that live there, they're probably not gonna buy because my prices are way too high for them. So location does a little bit matter, but like that's why I say, if you don't have one, estimate where would you like to be and conduct your research around that, because business plan is living, breathing document. You can always go back and change it. So if somebody, like that's why people always put confidentiality, agreements. So if anybody reads it, just because in case, like if somebody reads it, they can always change certain things in business plan and make their own work, right? You have a dislocation, I come here in Syracuse, New York, and I do it on Syracuse market. I just research the market and I do the same thing.
Okay.
So like it's always good to estimate a little bit like where you will look to be located.
Okay.
Okay, I have a Lawrence says nuts and bolts and getting additional assistance from SCORE website templates, but still following nuts and bolts. Yes, please utilize your SBA scores, any other mentoring that you can have, consulting. It's always good while in the process of writing a business plan. But like I said, you do want to follow nuts and bolts, because if you're intending to compete, that's what the judge is going to be following the format of that. So please use that. But do I advise you to use mentors and local business advisors that you have to help you through this process. Like I said, if you have any questions for me, you can always feel free to email me, and I'll respond as quickly as possible. Okay, guys, anyone else have any other issues, topics in regards to these two sections? We're good? Or we still...
No questions out on the YouTube channel, Elvis, so just the people that are in here.
Okay, so do you guys want me to go over again about, what's the first section of the business plan looks like and what you should write about? Or did everybody got that?
And then you just said that we could just email you for the PDF file again, because I just don't remember.
Yeah, so you did watch a video. Mirza went through a very, so like I say, I just covered very quickly about it, like what you have to do, but just make sure you split into sections. Each section of the business plan has subtitles, that you wanna. So when you're writing a business plan, it's good to name it, like this is, company and concept, this is, products and services, and like subtitle it so people like it's easier to understand. So it will be easier for you to make your table of content, so that when somebody wants to find something, it's easier for them to find it, the reader. Okay, guys, so we're gonna hang out probably for another 2-3 minutes. If you guys don't have any questions, this will be it. But I'll let you give you a minute or two to gather your thoughts, and let's see what you guys have. What is it? Is there a good example business plan? Yes. I don't know if Lawrence, have you received my business plan lab syllabus? If you have not, you can always go on EBV website. Under graduates, there's a business plan tab. Under business plan, there's a business plan lab. And in the lab, there should be, like, for download, nuts and bolts as well. And there's also a simple business plan. If you cannot find it, please email me and I will, forward it to you.
It shows you like chooses so much outside. I'm very outside tolerant.
Okay.
And guys, don't forget, Wednesday you should watch video 3 in a YouTube session, and Friday we'll have our office hours number 3. And then I think I'm gonna have to reschedule our next week Wednesdays to Tuesdays. So I'm gonna send you an email about that one as well, just to let you know. But I'll still remind you on Friday. But like I say, feel free to work on your business plan and come out with any questions you guys have. Okay, from Chris, I have 2 different plans on how I attack the private and public sectors. Should I cover both of these in the executive summary or just general overview? My business is an eco energy service company, primary focus energy efficient effects. Okay, so I'm not getting it. You have 2 different plans. Okay, so I would leave those for the marketing section of the business plan. I would definitely just in the executive summary, just make sure you explain the business, what does it do, what it does, and then when it comes down to products and services, describe each and every, like expert service, what does it do, and then in a marketing plan, you're gonna have 2, maybe depends on how many sections of marketing you're gonna hit. Because if you have 2 plans for, 2 different plans on attacking private and different, that's where you put your marketing plan and how you're gonna do it. It's there. But everything other sections should be the same. Maybe if it's in a different industry, it's your product service, maybe you'd like touch upon different sections of the industry as well. So let me know if that explains. If not, just send me an email and we can discuss more about it.
Yeah, I'll try to see where I'm not planning to check in the bag, so I'm just going to put a walk in my
Hello? Oh, hi. Sorry, it's Laura. I couldn't hear anything for a second. Is this perfect?
Okay.
I just wanted to do.
What's your
I'll look at the airport.
Okay, guys. No more questions? Yes, questions? Come on. Feel free to, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to post questions on YouTube, and I have James here with me, and he'll forward it to me, and I'll read them out and try to answer them the best way possible.
Sounds good.
Thanks for being around.
Yeah, nothing else out here for you, Elvis.
Okay, guys. Well, tune in on Friday, and we'll do our session 3. Thank you very much, and I hope it was helpful. If not, like I say, feel free to email me anytime you want.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day.